Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 19th of 2022, and that only means that we're getting very close to the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, as well as the full-length trailer for that series, which by the way is all sitting ready to drop by early May. It's looking like it's very likely to be on May the 4th, or maybe even a day or two before or after that. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are currently in a very exciting phase of Star Wars, given that we have a lot of things happening at the same exact time. I mean, we got the Kenobi show just around the corner, just a little over 1 month from now. We also have Star Wars Celebration coming out, and being the big destination for a lot of revelations and reveals by Disney and Lucasfilm for all of the new shows and a lot of the new Star Wars lore that's going to be done in other formats like books, novels, and comics. Now, with that being said, however, we also know that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are working hard on the Ahsoka Tano series. There's a lot of work being done as we speak. For Hayden Christensen, he's doing a lot of training as we speak right now for the role of Anakin Skywalker again for the Ahsoka Tano series, which, by the way, a lot of Hayden's scenes are going to be filmed from June to August of this year, and that's pretty much going to be the majority of Hayden's filming time for the Ahsoka Tano show. Now, keep in mind that the Ahsoka series is going to be far more lengthy than that of The Mandalorian, and it's going to have a bigger budget. It's going to have more of a movie quality to it all. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more intriguing has a lot to do with, of course, The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, and exactly what Jon Favreau has planned for the end of The Mandalorian TV show, and how it's going to involve some of the fan-favorite characters in the Star Wars world. Now, with that being said, however, given that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are now heavily involved with the Ahsoka Tano series and other shows that have yet to have been announced, they are also working very hard on The Mandalorian Season 4 that is set to debut in 2023 during the holiday season. Now, it's described that both Jon and Dave Filoni have a massive plan for both characters Luke Skywalker and Djarin to conclude The Mandalorian series with its 4th season. One major scene that is already storyboarded and will be finalized to become a part of the script involves Djarin traveling to Luke Skywalker's second Jedi temple that is based on the world of Yavin 4, just like in Star Wars Legends. It's said that this scene is what actually teases to fans that something guided Djarin to Luke's other Jedi temple. It's described to eventually be revealed that the Force is guiding Djarin to Luke Skywalker's location, to where he visits Luke, watching him teaching a lesson to a total of 10 Jedi students, where Luke is talking to them all at once. This is where Luke's lesson stops when he sees Djarin making his entrance, to where Luke walks over to Din, asking about where Grogu is. Din is described to mumble something around the lines of about how Grogu is safe and kept in a secret location where he will never be found. Now, let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, we already know that Dave Filoni confirmed that future Mandalorian episodes are going to be very strong with the Force, and that the Force is going to be strong with the Mandalorian TV show moving on forward after Season 2. So just keep that in mind. You can see exactly what they're setting up right now with Djarin being Force sensitive and coming to Luke Skywalker for guidance, and how a lot of this has to do with the Darksaber. We're going to tap into that in just a second. The thing about this that really opens up a lot of questions is, can this very well explain as to how Djarin knew of Grogu's location where Luke Skywalker is training Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett? I know that's one thing that was never answered in the Book of Boba series. You know, one possible scenario is that Ahsoka Tano stayed in touch with Djarin and told Djarin where to go to find Luke, but this could very well answer as to exactly how Djarin effortlessly found Grogu and where he was located. And that in the sense of the Force guiding him, just like in this scenario that's being done by Jon and Dave Filoni. Now further, of course, the scene progresses to a moment in time in which Luke Skywalker brings Djarin into one of the Jedi training areas within his temple and questions Din about the Darksaber that is strapped on his belt. Luke then reveals to Din, where he holds up the Darksaber, that the Force is strong with him, and that he would be more than welcome to his Jedi temple. Din refuses at first to train with Luke and states how he is a Mandalorian at heart, and that's that, and that there is no changing that. Luke then refreshes Din's memory by stating if he has already forgotten the legend of Tar Vizsla, who was both a Mandalorian and a Jedi who created the Darksabers. Now, one other thing that a lot of fans need to know is that there is a reason as to why Jon and Dave had the Armorer talk about Tar Vizsla in the Book of Boba Fett. Even Dave Filoni stated a couple of weeks ago that there is a deep reason as to why they even mentioned Tar Vizsla in the Book of Boba Fett, and I think that's our answer right there. So moving on forward from this, Luke then deactivates the Darksaber after examining it by, of course, looking at it after Din Djarin activates it, and hands it over to Din and invites him to stay and observe his school before leaving so soon. This is where the scene eventually comes to a close, where both Din and Luke walk into the main room of the temple, where Luke's Jedi students turn around as it cuts to black. Now, it's unclear if this scene will be picked up with another episode of Season 4, or if this is intended to be the only tease of Din Djarin being Force-sensitive and training to also become a Jedi under Luke Skywalker's teachings. Now, both Jon and Dave are also said to have had this plan from the very beginning, to make Din Djarin the modern version of Tar Vizsla, who was also both a Mandalorian and a Jedi, and the creator of the Darksaber. The ownership and complications of the Darksaber will also involve some revelations about Bo-Katan in Mando Season 4 as well by Lucasfilm. And that's the biggest question of all, right? Exactly what is this revelation about Bo-Katan and the ownership of the Darksaber and new secrets about the Darksaber? Honestly, to be, pretty forward with you guys, it seems like that's exactly what they're trying to set up, is that it's going to fall into the hands of Din Djarin permanently, at least the way it's going for Mando Season 4 and Mando Season 3 as well, is that the Darksaber is going to belong to Din Djarin at heart. And that is going to be a big deal, because we do know that the Darksaber is a very detailed story in and of itself. It's almost like a character in a sense, like the Millennium Falcon. It has a lot of history, it's got a lot of stories behind it, who wielded the saber, how it jumped from person to person at times. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting story to tell, with, of course, these new revelations about Bo-Katan. But the thing about Din becoming Force-sensitive and going to Luke Skywalker's aid subconsciously, because the Force guided him there, and he really didn't know why he was going there, but he was. The Force was guiding him there. And that's exactly how they're going to eventually either A, begin to conclude The Mandalorian Season 4, or completely just conclude it with the last episode being this. It's unclear if this is the last episode where it cuts to black, or if this is just setting things up for the rest of The Mandalorian Season 4 as a whole. So overall, I think that Jon and Dave really have their heads on straight. I mean, this really is coming off as something very much detailed with the lore, the Darksaber, Din Djarin, Bo-Katan. I mean, that's a lot of history here, and how it's going to only further expand Luke Skywalker as a character. So overall, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.